Hello YouTube, welcome to things I would change on my beautiful Triumph Speedmaster. I'm gonna go over a list of things that I would change if money wasn't an object and I could just spec this beautiful motorbike out to exactly how I want it to look. To get in the feel of money today, I've come to Orchard Lee Estate just to soak up, you know, that feeling of wealth, and then I can get a feeling for what it may be like to be able to just spend whatever I want on my motorbike. If money were no problem, I'd probably live in a place like this. This is a bit of me, this. Epic backdrop for this video here. So what would I change on my Speedmaster if money were no object? I have thought about doing a few of these things and slowly sort of doing it as time goes on, you know, then you can realistically build up money and trickle it out at times. But yeah, I'm going to go over the exact things I would change and actually how much it would cost as well. So I'll go over the figures of how much it's going to cost. The first thing that I would really like to change, it's not essential, but it would be really nice to have, is a Corbin, C-O-R-B-I-N, seat, bespoke seat made for the Speedmaster. They make seats for all sorts of different motorbikes and they do them specific for the Speedmaster. Take a look online at their seats if you haven't seen them, or if you're in the market for one. They're stunning seats, bespoke made. Leather, you can spec it in any sort of types of colour with different coloured stitching. I can't remember the name of it, the sort of band that goes around the side, and it backrests on the seat. They're absolutely stunning, but type of seat I want, the price for that, after I've fully spec'd it exactly how I want it, I'd go for like a maroon, dark maroon leather with cream stitching. It would just look, oh, beautiful. That will be £1,500 and it's made in, I believe, the States, so that's excluding shipping and delivery. So what, £2 for the seat? So that's a bit of dough. That's quite a big decision for me at the moment. I haven't got just that just floating around. So yeah, that is number one, what I would change. Money, no object. Next up, what would I change? This one's a bit lower down, quite a fair bit lower down in the price actually, but it's got me because I'm just thinking about it so much. It's trying to find the right parts, but let's get on to it. So the handlebars, don't get me wrong, I really like the beach bar handlebars, but I've always loved that American style. I'll try and spin the camera around, explain it better. It's like American style where they sort of come up and round and down a bit. So you're sitting like, instead of here, I quite like it like that. The handlebars like that. So I believe it's called like bunny ear handlebars, some people call them. How much for that? As I was saying, it's a lot lower down in the price range. It is, well, there's loads of different sites that do it and companies, you can get them from anywhere. Roughly it's about £150 for the set of the handlebars, but then on top I'd need them fitted. I wouldn't do it myself because I'm not that technical, so I wouldn't want to risk that. I have no idea. £50 for someone to fit those properly, so let's say £200 all in for that, which is not too bad, but yeah, it's a cost. Number 3, the foot pegs. So I would actually change these for the foot boards that Triumph do. First off, I think they look really cool. It gives it that slightly more substantial, slightly more old school look to the bike, I feel. And mainly down to comfort reasons for the foot boards. Like, you just have so much more options of where to put your feet, and the amount of touring long distances I do on the bike, yeah, I think the footboards would be awesome just for comfort perspective. Right, you may have noticed I've actually moved position a bit. I felt I was sort of getting in the way a bit of cars coming out in and out there. It's like a wedding venue here, so. But they're being really really nice actually, very hospitable for me taking pictures. I think they think I'm with the wedding or something. Yeah, so the footboards, they would be number 3 that I would change. Price wise, on the Triumph website you can get them for £490, but then you also need to spec the fitting kit, which I couldn't actually find out how much that costs. So I'm not too sure on that, and to be honest, I would get Triumph to fit them, or another garage, to make sure they get it right. You know, I'm a bit can be a bit cat-handed, so I get Triumph to do that. So £550, possibly £600 for those footboards. That's another, not an insignificant cost. Okay, Okay, moving on to number 4. I would go for the sissy bar, sort of slash backrest, and then you have to buy the pad. How Triumph get away with that? You have to buy the pad separately to the backrest, as if you wouldn't want a pad for the backrest. Don't know how they work that out. I think it's because they do a comfort option and a standard option for the backrest. That and the Triumph luggage rack at the back. It's like a stainless steel just rack which I could strap bags on, tent, camping gear, etc. That would be really useful to expand on the luggage carrying options and pillion options as well. For the backrest and luggage rack, the price of that all in is £470, but then there's fittings. I might be able to do that myself, to be honest, so let's call that £470. Moving on to point number 5 actually is to do with the internals of the engine. It's not the most expensive point on the list, but it's getting involved in the motor, which I don't really like doing too much. Considering my bike's now coming to the end of its Triumph warranty, then anything's up for doing. Let's jump on. We'll go for a cruise out and I'll explain what it is. Actually, exhaust-wise and everything, I wouldn't change anything exhaust-wise. It's a perfect level of noise, this bike, with this 2 Vance and Hines slip-ons each side in chrome. And I've got it decatted from actually the company that I would buy this next piece from. And it's just such a nice noise. It sounds really nice, obviously, but it's not too loud. It's got that really good balance of sounding really nice and throaty, but not being ostentatious and like ridiculously loud, where it can be embarrassing. You're boom, 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 going through villages, you know what I mean, where it's too loud. It's a nice balance, this. The bit that I would change, and the cost isn't too much actually. Let's say the cost first. I believe, top of my head, sorry, I'd to double check, but I think it's £360. But then I would get the company to fit it as well, and I would have to ride up north to where the company's based to have them fit it. Now, you don't have to do that, but I would want the company themselves to do it because I know they're good. I trust them. Specialists on Triumph Bonnevilles, basically. So that guy just did a massive divot from his Golf Strike. Anyways, getting distracted. The camshaft, the cam, I would change in the engine to give it more power. I think the company actually, they've run dyno tests on it and they tested up to it, so just over 101 brake horsepower, I think, so that would bring this engine up to that. It is the cam from the Thruxton RS. Personally, I haven't actually never ridden that bike. I need to put that in for a test ride, but that is, so I've heard, a very nice performing bike and a fair bit quicker than the Speedmaster. Now, I like Speedy's power, but I'll always take a bit more power as long as it's not ridiculous. I think the engine can handle it, the chassis can definitely handle it, and the brakes as well. So just at that top end, you know, if I'm on the motorway going 75, I think having that more power would just smooth that out, because obviously you'd be at lower revs because the engine isn't working as hard. And also on the road, if you're in second gear, I do find in second gear you have to change quite quickly if I'm wanting to push on a bit. So just having that extra bit of brake horsepower would actually, I think, make it a nicer, lazier, more pleasurable ride. And before I forget, the company that does it, they're called Tech Bike Parts, TEC Bike Parts, and they're based up north of England. I don't know if you've heard of them. I don't know how many people have heard of them, but they're brilliant. If you're into your Triumph Bonnevilles, they do everything you need for the Triumph Bonneville. Performance parts, aesthetic looking parts. So yeah, I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but I recommend checking them out. I think they're really good if you haven't heard of them. TEC, Tech Bike Parts, up north. I think I would have this house just as a backdrop to the bike. I think I'd just have it not to live in, just to park the bike in front of and just look at it, maybe take the odd picture. That would be number 5 point on the list, if money were no object, of course. Beautiful place that. Of course, I'm joking. Well, to be fair, if money was literally no object, I might do that, but that's not point number 5. Point number 5 I'll come on to because there's an accessory which I don't have on me that I can show you or make it easier to explain. We'll go into the overall cost of everything and how much overall, I've roughly added it up, pretty accurate as to how much it would all cost to do everything I want on the Speedmaster. Nearly everything. Money, no object. Actually, second thoughts, let me quickly demonstrate what I mean about the top end power and why I would like more power. Just try and show you in the second gear. If I rev it out now, if I can without that car. It sort of runs out of gas around 3.5, I'd say. around 3,500 RPM. It gets pretty flat, which is not the end of the world because I love just sitting in the torque band, but anything that could expand that and give you a bit more room with just rolling on the throttle and not having to change gear, I think would be just make the ride a bit more relaxing. On to the last reason we've got there. Money no object. And as if by pure magic, ta-da! There's suddenly a couple of panniers on the back of my bike. Don't know how they got there. Just, yeah, magic. The world works in funny ways these days. But yeah, so I've got my 2 panniers on, and if you've seen the channel before, these are the standard like wax cotton panniers from Triumph. You can get directly from Triumph. They're something like, I think it's 13 litres capacity each, which is not good. That's not a lot of luggage room, and with the touring I use it for, it's just not that practical. So basically need a lot bigger luggage, and money no option. I'll get on to what I'm going to go now. So if I just show you the standard luggage first, just in case you haven't seen it before. I mean, it looks great. I really like it. You've got one either side with the double. Oh, just love that about the Speedmaster, the double exhaust there. It looks really nice. It's really, really quality luggage, and there's nothing wrong with the quality or the look of it. It's purely the capacity I would change it for. Pretty small in there. Not loads of room. Basically, I would just change the 2 side panniers for more capacity, basically bigger and lockable as well. That's important. These actually, I should have said that, these aren't lockable, which can be a bit of a pain when you're away touring and you just want to stop off and go for a walk and you can't lock the luggage. It's a bit of a nightmare, that. So yeah, I would change them for. There's lots of options out there, but I've been looking at Viking panniers. They're based in America. The ones I'm looking at, they're hard case, lockable, and a lot bigger capacity. That comes in price-wise, it comes in at £537, and that's not including shipping from the US over to the UK either. So yeah, that and the shipping could be a little bit. That is starting to add up. If this was no object, that is what I would do to my Speedmaster. I would probably get some paint work done as well, actually. I just struggle, I can't make my mind up what to go for. So I'm thinking possibly like a military green would look quite good, but I really don't want to lose the chrome I've got on the bike because I really like the look of that on the bike. Yeah, maybe some pinstripes, I'm not sure, not made up on that. If you've got any ideas, please let me know, be interested. So let's total that up. If the money was no option, let's go through the thing. We've got the Corbin seat, £1,500. Higher handlebars, like the American bunny ear handlebars, £150. Footboards from Triumph, £490. The lockable panniers, the luggage, that's £537. Backrest sissy bar and luggage rack from Triumph, that's £470. Changing the cam, which is actually one of the least expensive, £360 from Tech Bike Parts. Overall, and this is excluding fitting, delivery, because some of the parts will be coming from America, that's £3,507. I know it's not crazy, it's completely doable. I don't have to win the lottery to do that, but it is a bit of money. And at the moment, a little bit, I'm not going to invest that much money into her at the moment. 3,507 is not an insignificant amount of money, but then to pretty much make it my dream bike, it could be worth it. But yeah, hope you like that little insight into what I would do if money was no object for my bike. Please let me know what you would do on your bike, especially if it's a Speedmaster. I'd be very interested to hear that. Cool, many thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the vid, guys, if you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one. Take it easy. Ciao Bella.